One of the big questions of the November international window was Pep Guardiola. Was he going to stay or go? We thought that we might get a decision, and sources are saying Pep Guardiola to stay at Manchester City, signing a one-year extension.
Yeah, I think, look, there was at least some question as to whether he would sign the extension because of what hangs over Manchester City with the 114 charges, which we have been told are currently being heard. We won't have any adjudication until the end of the Premier League season. And you can think about it, there could be two things happening here, or two different. I think they're very different. One of them is Pep Guardiola is pretty convinced that none of that is going to damage City in significant ways. And he is signing this extension because things will be business as usual for City going into 2025-26. That could be a thing, right? Pep could have insider information, or they could be telling him, we're pretty sure nothing's going to happen. Now, that's all just guessing, because I don't even think the lawyers or the people in charge at City really know what's going to happen. But Pep could be convinced of this. I don't know that he has. Okay, you'd have to really believe in conspiracy theory to think that he has insider information to the point that he knows what the resolution will be for City. I don't know that that's the case. The other side of this is Pep Guardiola is just a company man, right? And whatever happens for City,
that kind of makes me sad to hear. The best coach maybe ever. This is a company man.
But he has consistently told us who he is when it comes to his belief in City and this club and the ownership and the investment and the things that they have achieved. And I'm not sure that there's the other thing here is there a place for Pep Guardiola to go, sort of naturally, a role that he could step into if he leaves City? Now, if he is burnt out the way that Jurgen Klopp was burnt out, he could step away, he could sabbatical, he could do whatever he wants, and no one would begrudge him that because it's almost a decade at City and he's won everything there is to win. He also could be a Klopp kind of guy. Like he could follow in Klopp's footsteps, step away from City, and then they just give him the City Football Group global head of soccer, head of football role. That's a thing. That could be a thing. That's not what he wants. I think he still very much wants to manage day to day. And I don't know that there's a better place for him to do that than City. Because if he walks at the end of the season, there will be jobs, but he'll be building from scratch or he'll be having to inject himself in another culture. And he is such a big personality, such a big figure in world football. It's hard to imagine any other club who's not already in a good place. Because what club is going to be like, yeah, we're just going to say goodbye to a guy who was great. And we're like, what is he going to go coach Madrid, following Carlo Ancelotti's footsteps? Like that seems problematic on a number of levels. So I just, you can't coach that team. He's the Barcelona guy. You know what I'm saying? There's always, we went through the list. There's always a reason he can't go coach one of the bigger teams in the world because he's either been there or they're a rival of a club he's connected to or whatever. So this is the only real option I think available to him.
Do you think there was a collective groan when that news came across the ticker? Do you think people in the Premier League were secretly had their fingers crossed that he was going to finally walk away, and maybe the era of City dominance at least takes a pause for a moment while they get a new guy, and everyone's like, I kind of wish he was leaving.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to see if Liverpool can seal the deal under Arne Slot. I'm going to butcher his name, under Slot this year. And that would maybe change the dynamic or people's perceptions of what City will be in the future. And again, this is only an extra year. His contract was going to expire next summer. Now it's going to expire the summer after that. And he'll have to make another decision about another extension when we get to another international break, I guess. I'm sure that other clubs, I'm sure other managers were hoping secretly, publicly they'd be like, oh, no, we want to go up against the best, and Pep is the best, and we want the challenge. But, probably secretly they were hoping for something. And I think there are lots and lots of fans, and, City has admirably filled the villainous role in world football over the last 6, 7, 8, 10 years. There are lots of fans who would love to see chaos at City because that feels like what they deserve, because most people that are not City fans feel like somehow they've cheated.
And especially some like to see some chaos because they've been kind of in like robot mode. They're like the football robots is like, how do we do everything the most efficiently way possible? And then having that kind of like, the rug pulled out from under them would be entertaining to see just how the club reacts in general. I don't know who they play at the weekend, but City coming off of like losing 4 games in a row and then having an international break to repair and like retool. I feel like they're probably going to beat the brakes off of someone this weekend.
Yeah, I mean I mean, this is still a very, very, very good team, right? There's no doubt about that, and it's going to take near perfection for anybody but to beat them out to the title, despite what they've gone through, despite all of the injury woes that Pep's dealt with, despite the 4 consecutive losses. This is still one of the world's best collections of talent. They've got Tottenham
Yeah,
on
I just thought
Saturday, and
I feel
that's an
Tottenham.
interesting one. Tottenham at the Etihad, and Tottenham is going through, well, Tottenham like things. I guess that's pretty standard for Tottenham these days. I mean, we pondered the idea of a player like Christian Pulisic at Tottenham Hotspur, and well, I wouldn't wish that on U.S. men's national team fans. So, I think that probably City will bounce back. We shall see. Although, I mean, it's 3 weeks ago, Tottenham beat City in the League Cup round of 16 to knock them out of that tournament. So, hey, Ange can pull something out of his hat too. Very good manager.
All the funkiness that we described at Spurs, and I didn't even know about this one until I saw on the Athletic that Bentancur, one of the players, got a 7-game suspension for making some dicey racial comments against.
They're appealing that. What happened is he went on television in Uruguay and he said something about it was a show about shirts, about football shirts, and there was something about what teammate he would want to have, whose shirt he would want to have, and he said something about Son and how he didn't know if it was Son's cousin because they all looked the same, and this got him in hot water with the FA because they have pretty strict rules about saying things that are tinged with discrimination or racial overtones, and so he got a 7-game ban. They are appealing it. I think it'll probably be reduced. I don't know. I mean, Son played it off, but I don't know what else he's supposed to do. What he's going to say? Oh no, my teammate Rodrigo Betancourt, who's very important to Tottenham Hotspur, should get 10 games. He's not going to do that. So, very dicey situation. The other thing about Spurs is they refreshed their brand. Rob, they dropped the words Tottenham Hotspur from the bottom of their logo and gave their cockerel a makeover, a little bit of a makeover. You know, the cockerel. You're a big fan of the cockerel, right?
Not personally. I know some people enjoy it, to each their own. But that said, to move on swiftly, I feel sorry. I feel like Spurs might be in trouble at the weekend at the Etihad.